Let's see how this one goes. Should be better. And here we are once again in the studio, making art, telling stories. Oh, excuse me. Oh, so sad. For figures that are really far away, like this, you always have to use like a super tiny pen tip, and then you gotta be very careful not to screw up. Even these smaller pens have some I don't know what the word is, like some give, where you can add pressure and make it behave a certain way. Just nice. I've been thinking, like, this new band project, if this really gets off the ground, it's not like a band where we'll play shows or whatever, but write and record, that kind of band. Since the guys involved with it want it to be a kind of shoegazing alt rock style, it just occurred to me, like, this could be a really good sort of method or platform to kind of get out sort of my anger against the system. You know what I mean? The kind of, because I'm sort of thinking, like, well, what am I gonna write about? What will be the themes? And there's a lot of lovelorn kind of that stuff, love lost or just inexplicable depression and this kind of thing. I'm not, thank God, I'm not as depressed as I used to be. But I, have a reservoir of bad experiences to draw from. But it just occurred to me, like, wow, yeah, maybe kind of going after the system might be a cool theme. I'm listening to a little Radiohead in the background, and I always think of them as pretty anti-establishment, There's something about the English that they seem to really have oh man, like, I don't know, like, when they go after society, like then in the music and stuff, they really fucking go. I recognize it's kind of a classist society, and there's a lot of just kind of following the norms, and it just seems like people are very mean to each other over there, which is harsh and like heartbreaking to be honest with you. But I'd say, like, probably the best music has come out of England, though. You know what I'm saying? I would dare to say that. As far as like rock and roll and different types of pop music and what have you, alt music, I guess. Kid A was really a revelation for me when I discovered it. There's a critic that calls them Punk Floyd, which I thought was a really clever name. Punk Floyd. But I need to start writing. I got to get back to like just sitting down and really working on some poetry. I used to write a lot, like a ton. And when I say write, I mean poetry. I would just get these like incredible inspirations, and just it would just fly out of me. Like it's a for me, it's a kind of like shamanistic mode of being where you allow yourself to enter a hyper emotional state, and then you let the feeling take over, and then the words come and you describe the feelings, and you kind of visualize. There's a lot of visualization. um, and as such, the images come and the words follow. So it's really amazing when it happens. It's kind of magical. I live in a town where you can't smell a thing. You watch your feet for the cracks in the pavement. You know, high up above, aliens hover, making home movies to send back home. Of all these weird creatures who lock up their spirits, drill, drill holes in themselves, and live for their secrets. Wow. Wow. That's fucking amazing. We're uptight, wild, uptight. So I'm. It's funny, when I was younger, this was very much me. Like I was that guy. Now I think it's all turned political for myself. Like when I don't know how to put it. Like a lot of the emotions and these things, they have to do with the real world and the real crises that we're having. And it's not so much that like teen angst thing. I tell all my friends, but they never believe me. They think that I've finally lost it completely. I show them the stars and the meaning of life. They shut me away, but I'd be all right. Yeah, man, I'm super excited. Yes, I am back, Jack. The phone is up to 71% charged, so we're not gonna have these stupid um, interruptions. Anyway, I don't blame people for being mad at me. I'd be mad at me. I'd be like, Don, I'm mad at you. But I don't know. I didn't check before I started the show. I could have I should have checked basically. Um, need some pencils. Yeah, like wow. These aliens are so weird. I don't know why I feel like sorry for them. Basically, like I don't know why I made them like sad or something. I guess. I'm gonna go back to sleep soon. Okay, has more to do with my schedule. Oh, don't worry about it, buddy. You know, don't you worry at all. You do what you gotta do. I can't do this alone. Wow, that's harsh. Wow, this music's getting me. It's getting to me. You know what I mean? Sing us a song to keep us warm. Such a trip. All right. Wow, this is very dark. We'll get right into this one. This- Now we are one in everlasting. Trying to catch the lyrics from this song from Kid A. Is that Kid A? No, OK Computer. Oh, this tune is incredible. This song, oh my god. Um, so that's kind of a goal in itself, right there, is to like make music that has this kind of emotional power. That is a goal right there. You know, that is a really great goal. Oh, okay, very crazy. Alien sticking his fingers into another alien's head. So in this story, the alien is giving birth to a baby alien through his brain, which is pretty fucking disgusting. Like like that's like a nasty image. Um, I did actually ask the writer, like, what's the allegory here? I want to know, what does this represent? Although it does remind me, I forget the name of the movie, I Enemy or something. Back in the 80s, there was this movie. It was really sort of famous for its time, kind of a science fiction story about a human and an alien that get trapped on a planet during a time when Earth and this other alien species were at war with each other. And so, like, they get trapped on this planet together and they have to learn how to work together to survive, you know. And they end up becoming basically friends. And at one point, the alien is going to die, but in that alien species, they don't sort of die in the normal way. What they do is they have like a baby. They're like, they have sort of like both sexes or something, and when they get, like their belly comes out and there's a baby in there, and then when it's time to die, that's when the baby comes out, kind of thing, something like that. So it's very weird, it's this sort of alien birth. Oh, damn, if I can remember the name of that. I think it's called I Enemy. Something Quaid. Randy Quaid maybe was in it. I forget the black actor that played the alien. He did like uh, he's actually more known for like musicals and stuff like that, but like he did an extraordinary job with this. He invented this like weird alien language with all these like clicking noises, and it's a good film. It's a good sci-fi film. It's very 80s. Death, New Life. Yeah, 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 yeah. Are there any movies that particularly influenced you artistically? A lot. That's a super smart question. That's a really, really intelligent question because, like, I can't overstate how certain films at certain times in my life, I would say, like, radicalized me as an artist. And when I say radicalized, I don't mean politically. I mean, like, it turned me into an artist in a sense. So, like, different, different ages had different influences, if you will. And I do remember, for example, when I was, I don't know how old I was, but when I first saw Blade Runner, and that like blew my mind. I couldn't talk. I was like in awe. I was in awe. I was young when I saw it, and so it kind of like it just so like I was always into these like heavy metal comics and stuff, and then you see this movie, which is kind of like the realization of those sorts of sci-fi visions, if you will. And it just, I was like beyond stunned, you know. I was like shocked in a sense. And you know, so like that had a gargantuan impact on me. It's really what the question is kind of more about, like the different ages that I was in, and like what influences a kid to an adolescent to a teenager to an adult, you know, and as you get older. So like, for example, you know, when I went to college and I started actually learning art history and caring about that and learning how to paint and all of those various things. You know, I remember seeing various movies and things that kind of impacted my my love of like European culture and all that. And I'm trying to think like the the movies maybe were not the greatest movies, but there was just something about them that tapped into something in me at that time. I remember The English Patient, like really kind of, you know, slamming me at one point. And I mean, it's sort of a World War II romance. There's a part in the film where the woman that he's been having this affair with, you know, she's gonna die, and he has to, you know, he's got to go find, you know, something to help her and get her out of there, and he gets waylaid and this and that. And when he finally comes back, she's dead. And then there's a scene where he's carrying her out of the cave where he hid her, and he's just crying like wailing, this like wailing, screaming, crying, and incredible, unbearable agony. And they didn't have the audio of him crying; they had music instead. So like the sense of like the silence of just watching him cry while there was this, you know, the music that of course was very dramatic, you know. And it just like it ruined me, like it just devastated me. I can remember being like totally ripped up by that, you know. I don't know really how to. I think that to understand things like that, you'd have to understand me, and that's not an easy thing to explain because I have a for me a lot of like what I'm about is actually death. I've just had so much death has defined my life since I lost my dad when I was 18, and how I watched him, you know, go through heart disease for 4 years, and that robbed me of my youth. And I think that's part of why I have such a deep passion for spiritual matters and things of this nature, because death is like this very real thing to me. I know I don't talk about it, but like there's a lot of ghosts around me a lot of the time. I've just constantly like supernatural activity in my life, and I don't like make a big deal about it or whatever. It's just part of the landscape. But and so like for example, I I got the Monroe program to start doing what do you call it? What the fuck's it called? Out of body experiences. And then it just now that I've got the stuff and I'm ready to start, I'm kind of chickening out. You know, I'd be just, you know, full disclosure, just kind of admitting right now to myself, like, are you sure you want to fucking do this? Like this is gonna be really serious. really, really serious. You're separating your soul from your body, and then you're gonna be going into different dimensions, and you're gonna be meeting entities. And so, like, if you don't have your heart really, really ready for this, then do not fucking do it, because this is not playtime. This isn't some silly little thing. So I have to kind of get my head in a certain, you know, I'm feeling like next year is really when all this stuff is going to clear out. I've kind of a bit of pressure on me. I've got to finish this project. I'm, really, really invested in this project, and it's a big project. There's a lot of money and time and people involved in it, and we really have to make a big effort to make sure that this works. So I kind of don't want the mental, emotional pressure of whatever to kind of fuck me up. I don't know if that makes any sense to anybody, but I need my head clear. That's essentially all I'm saying. Mr. Colorado, I can't ever pronounce that nicely. I will just call you Mr. K. How about that? Mr. K. Hello, welcome back. It just doesn't roll off the tongue. Colorado, but I can't. Colovrat. Colorovrat. Sorry, I'm an idiot. I'm just an idiot. Craig says this is the movie free on YouTube called Alien Code, which is pretty good. Subject of space time. There's quite a lot out there. I've seen a lot of them as well. I don't know what to call it, but like, how do I put this? Some of them are like cheesy and some of them are not. And I'm at a place where I'm like, show me something new, because I've seen it all. Like, I know all the talking points, all of the made for TV bullshit. I know it all. Like, show me something new. The only kind of new-ish thing that you can really catch is that there's a ton of people out there just capturing UFO footage and just sharing it, on the internet from all over the world. And so that's neat to watch. That's interesting to watch. Granted, there are times when you're like, that could very well be fake, and then there's other times where like, I'm familiar with this particular kind of phenomenon. Yeah, I know what that is or whatever. Death changes how you perceive life. Yeah, so I mean, death itself and grieving are kind of different topics, but when you're 13, 14, and your dad, oh god, I don't want to walk you through that shit. It's very heavy. It's very, very heavy, and you're not going to want to come back to the show and hear me talk if I walk you through that. I do have a plan to write an autobiography, actually, and then tell like the full story of all that stuff, which I believe I'll do. Probably just easier to stream it, but I don't know if that's how it actually works. What are we saying here? Be careful, don't wander off too far and get lost, like in the Conjuring movies. Victorian Traveler's back. Excellent. I asked a lady if she wanted to play hide and seek. She's really good. I never saw her again. Ah, you're funny. So funny. I'm sorry about this weird schedule tonight with like the phone shitting the bed and then kind of coming back here. But like, I just figure, I got work to do, and it's always fun if I can kind of hang out with some friends and chit chat a bit while I'm working, listen to some tunes and share some thoughts and this and that. Another one of my favorite songs. Both good trilogies. Sinister. Tell me about Sinister. Sorry about the joke. I didn't realize the mood was somber. Oh, no, 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 no. I have to stop being somber. I need to snap out of it. So like, you guys joke all you want. I'm the odd man out. I gotta snap out of it. It's the music. I'm listening to this like super moody, emotional music, and I'm getting like irritated. Irritable. I'm so emotional. So I will tone it down. This is a trippy image, though. I gotta say, there's just something weirdly trippy about it that's kind of setting me off a little bit. You know what I mean? No, it's okay. Okay, cool. Um, I'll be there. Open up your skull. I'll be there. Maybe I'll talk about something positive. So, I am doing a lot of development right now on starting a new show. And I've got some friends developing media for me, music, video, animation, cool shit. And so once I get that up and running again, I'm going to start having guests on and having a cool show. So we'll have a fun show to look forward to once a week. And then I can feature the art of our people in the movement, do kind of a variety show, So I'm really excited about that. That's the big news. I can kind of let it out. It's a lot of people doing a lot of things, and it's good to be a part of promoting that. I've kind of fell off the rails, since my mom died and this and that. And I feel like it's time to get back on the horse. It's been a couple of years here, and I really got to get back in the game here. So that is the score. And so one of the guests that I'll be having is an old friend, goes by the name Edda, and she has a show on the true history of Germany and World War II. So her mission is to educate people about the true history of World War II, National Socialism, and she does commentary on politics today and how that is a reflection of these things, and like if what would be the National Socialist policy on X, whatever that might be, if it's economics or education or you name it, and so we're going to get into that. That's going to be really exciting. I can't wait. On just one of my shows recently, I was talking about the ideology, the political system of National Socialism, and saying, like, it's something that we should take a serious look at. To see like how could this benefit us today. What's in here. Stop looking at it through a negative lens of like World War II and this and that. Yeah, and that's that. So it's exciting to think through the potentials of how that could play out. I'm quite excited about that. Yeah. They don't speak for us. Oh yeah, I watched the guy called Zoomer Historian. He talks about World War II in an actual neutral light. I think I know the guy. Is he like a bald English dude? He doesn't bash National Socialism, but points out some of the lies. And people call him a sympathizer because of it, even though he's being objective with history. So the point, Culverad, the point you're bringing up here is really, really, really powerful and important. Is how deep the Jewish psyop is that we can't talk like clinically or academically about history. Like, and that's very, very literally what Ben Shapiro and Mark Levine are doing. Is they're literally saying, like, you know, people on the far right are not allowed a seat at the table to talk about politics. Like, they cannot talk politics. We can't allow them under the tent, as they say, to like discuss politics. And the question is, fuck, why? Like, who the fuck said so? Like, why is that? And why is it only the Jews that don't want to talk about it? Oh, boy. You know what I'm saying? So that's why I'm like, okay, we need to do like a history refresher. You know, we need to get into this, and we will. Oh yes, we will. We will. So I just was sort of commenting on somebody's post on Instagram about socialism and saying, oh, socialism bad, communism, and I'm like, well, slow down, like communism and socialism are not exactly the same thing. Yes, socialism can be the intro or the slope to communism, and that's what it's been used for by communist countries. However, how does that account for Hitler's national socialism? Explain that. And then they don't know fucking shit. They can't have a conversation. And I'm fine with what they're saying. Like, I agree about its relationship to communism. I get that. I get it. It's just that even there's still being gatekept. You know what I'm saying? They're still on a plantation. They're still in a matrix where they can't think about, talk about, or see that there's this other form of socialism. And what it boils down to is like, if the people come first, and the point of socialism is to care for the populace, in a then like, what's wrong with that? That's actually what the government's supposed to fucking do. You know what I'm saying? So it's just, we're so dichotomized. I don't know if that's a word or whatever, but you know what I'm saying? Like, there's so much like dialectic at play that nobody. It's like for example, a good example is how nobody uses the word fascism correctly. Like nobody, left or right, they always fuck it up, and I have to explain over and over and over and over that's not what fascism means, then I try to do like a little history lesson, and then the fucking midwits come out, and it becomes like a stupid shit show. Oh, it's exhausting. It's exhausting. But it's got to be done. I don't care. I don't not. You don't let the ignorant rule the world. You don't let the tail wag the dog. It's not how shit works. So there you go. So I'm excited about that. Primarily, it's going to be an arts review show. It'll be a variety show where I'll have, viral videos, music, visual arts, and of course, guests. I'm thinking of only like one guest at a time. Like, I don't really want to run, I don't want to have to like handle, I'm already going to be handling like a lot of media. You know what I'm saying? So like I don't want to have to. I just don't want too much to juggle. There's already going to be a lot to juggle when I'm switching to clips and music and back and forth and da 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 da. It's going to be a little tricky. I'm just kind of putting it out there. Running shows like this there's a lot of production value in it. Would it be great to have a dude that did that for me? Yeah, it would be great. Maybe somewhere, somehow, I might find somebody that could do that. It'd have to be somebody I trust, obviously. This character here is called Galaxy Brain. And, like, you've probably seen. They have these memes of, like, guys with, like, huge brains. It's just like if you say something really smart in a chat room and everyone's like, oh, wow. And then you post it's like not an NPC, but I'd have to pull up a picture of the dude with a giant brain, and then you like everyone laughs. So, but then there's ones with like little bicycle brains, and like their head is caved in, and they're drooling. There's a variety of like memes like that out there. Anyway, let's read some chats. Sympathizer. I need to look him up though. Again, he is. A lot of us are not evil. Some people even think monarchy is some Nazism, while ignoring how different those ideologies are. Yeah, that's well said. That's very well said. I just have to comment. It's just midwittery to be like everything I don't like is Nazi. I mean, that's really what we're dealing with here. Is just like idiots. They don't even know. Like when you say, well, what if someone says, oh, you're Nazi, and then you say, okay, well, what is it you don't like about National Socialism? I've done that to people in debates or whatever online, and they're like, what are you talking about? They don't even fucking know what National Socialism is, and I'm like, do you know what you're saying? Like, do you even understand the words falling out of your dumb fucking mouth? You retard, like, it's just. I don't know that we really owe these people any kind of explanation or any time or any. You know what I'm saying? It's like. It's like, go back to your little cave or whatever. Like, the adults are talking. I can remember actually saying that to somebody at one point. Like, the adults are talking. That was a mean thing to say. I admit it. That was not a nice thing to say. I shouldn't have said that. But like, this guy was just being an insufferable liberal douchebag. I'm like, go away. The adults are talking. As how we anyway. Um, so there it is. But yeah, it's just that whole thing of like, why ask the advice of people that are not educated on X, Y, Z? Like what's the, how do they have any say in a conversation, where they know nothing about a thing? I wouldn't dare try to like tell people what to think about something that I knew nothing about. It's like, whatever it might be, if it's, medical or spiritual or who knows what, I'd be like, I'm sorry, that's not my field of area of expertise. I can maybe offer an opinion, but I don't really know much about it. So, and that's just the normal thing to do. It's just a normal thing to do. Um, One thing I've been coming across a lot in my algorithm, I guess, is the nature of conformity and what do you want to call it? Social norms. The social norms, and a lot of it has to do with women and how, in an evolutionary way, if you want to put it that, I don't know how to put it. Conformity to a group is baked into survival. You're as good as your network, and that's how that works. And so, you know, women will tend to be a lot more conforming, and when they do conform to a thing, they will go all in. They'll go all in. I was looking at some statistics about like fascist Italy and National Socialist Germany, and how once these ideologies were instituted, they women became very, very like in the forefront of it. Like they really did amazing things. They created there's various types of women's groups that did various types of things that would really, really help people. And it's beautiful, And so, but what it indicates is that women are by nature followers, like conformers, if that's a word, they're, we have to lead, we have to set up, like, here's the system, here are the values, here's the way. And then and it has to be patriarchal, and if it's not, and it becomes this kind of like, you go girl, boss bitch, I get the kids and the house and the car, and you got to pay me for the rest of your life until you kill yourself, you know what I'm saying, feminism, like, I see videos of like 20 something women like screaming and crying, like, what the fuck is up with the system? Like, fuck this system. I want to have kids. I want, I want a husband. I want love. I want family. What the fuck happened? Like, we were fucking duped. We were lied to. And how do we get out of it? And they're terrified. They're totally terrified, The hookup culture, and, how men have like, okay, fuck this shit. Like, they've checked out, And so it's hard to find a good man and all this other stuff. I guess I'm probably wandering all over the place here, but let me read some comments. Craig says, I personally think the benefits of a free market would have its max benefits literally and figuratively if done in a white positive countries when recapturing our destiny. Maybe we'd give any of our people who are citizens have the option to opt in or out of the socialist programs. Interesting point. but if they opt in, they have to contribute in some way financially. Da da da. Yes. Excuse me. They don't do that, they just aren't eligible for benefits. Craig says, I wouldn't want a totally free market though. Slam the hammer down. Don't get me wrong. Okay. Um, Speaking of which, there's that whole debacle with the EBT cards, the food cards, food stamps. I just got I don't know what to call it, like a graph that says like what races and ethnicities in America use these services the most. And I was actually shocked that like Puerto Ricans use more of these benefits than blacks. I was actually pretty surprised to hear that. Overall, like pound for pound, uh, Latin people. I mean, there's so many more of them, right? Because you got all these different countries from South and Central America that are up here bleeding us for our stuff. So, but of course, Puerto Rico's just one, right? So anyway, yeah, like I would say, whenever you see a Mexican, Guatemalan, Honduran, Nicaraguan, whoever the fuck they are, what you're looking at is a net negative of using the system, sucking our tax dollars. The government is taking your money away from you against your will and giving it away to these people. So, on the one hand, it's the government that's the enemy, right? I think we can kind of agree on that. But these people are not off the hook, and I mean, it's not a new discussion. I mean, it's certainly something that is kind of a topic that is common in our sphere. But I just don't think like the average white person really sees that. It's an abstraction to them. You know, I know it. Like every single time I see someone like that in town or whatever, I give them a dirty look, and it's like I don't care what you say. I don't care what you think about that. Like I know why they're here. They know why they're here. They know they're fucking me and my people, and so I'm not gonna like hi. I'm not gonna be nice to them. I mean, I'm not gonna hurt them, but fuck you is the answer. Fuck you is the answer. So it's ugly. It's definitely ugly. Um, that's just the reality of things. And again, it's like people have a difficult time seeing kind of past the abstraction of it. You know what I mean? It's hard for people to do that. Apparently. Um, so there's some more comments here. Something is being hidden. Show this. I mean, be strict. Okay. Um, but socialism or capitalism would work in a biospiritual health white. Wait. Socialism or capitalism would work in a biospiritually healthy white positive society, but I would want capitalism still, but not too much for a free market, depending on industries. Da, da, da. So I get you. Okay, it was pretty much just what people had access to. Sean NCSC is here. My wife looks. Oh boy. Oh, my wife looks to me to be the leader. She also knows women shouldn't be voting. Well, congratulations to you, Sean. She's okay with that because she knows everything I do. I do with her and our kinds in mind. Excellent. Wow. Where are you from, Sean? And welcome to the show. So this is we're doing some comic book inking. Got kind of a crazy story going on today. Um, but yeah, this topic of frankly women, and that's one of I've always said that like feminism is the greatest weapon of the Jews. It is the most powerful, most damaging uh, invention of cultural Marxism. Tearing man and woman away from each other, and then the children suffering as a result, and how that destroys bloodlines. The what do you call it? The legal system, and how that's been set up, to destroy men. There's a lot of fathers that have killed themselves. There's no, how much of that do you hear in the news? You know what I'm saying? I mean, killed themselves. Jesus. Like if you were a child and your mom had a divorce with your dad, and then your dad killed himself because he couldn't see you, what effect is that going to have on you psychologically for the rest of your life? It's demonic. It's profoundly evil, and I don't even know where to start. I don't even know how to. It's so painful. Um, so this is the kind of shit that we're talking about here. It's like these things have to get resolved. They have to get fixed. Um, and I feel like a lot of women are kind of coming around to it. Um, Tough stuff, though. Tough stuff to get into. What's going to happen in the end is this, in my view, men are going to collectively walk away, per se, and be like, I'm done with the bullshit. I'm not going along with this shit. And women will reach a certain age where they're going to be like, where are all the good men? They're already like that. They're like, oh, where are all the good men? Yeah. It's like, bitch, we're the ones that you pushed off to the side. I feel like it's just bound to collapse. It's just organically going to collapse. When and how soon or whatever, I don't know. I can't say, but it seems to be happening. I would say that much. I need to get my pencil out here. What would you prefer, and what would you be more? What would be more stable? A Western society which is not totally white, but a decent percent, and socialist, or anti-whites, mostly anti-white blacks, have been freaking out over this. Um, that question is a big. It's a big question. It's something I've thought about a lot. I don't have like all the answers or what have you, but I do feel pretty strongly that the far right has to come up with some kind of answer for this and be able to say, like, if we're gonna rule, if we're gonna have a position of leadership and power, then it can't just be for white people. We have to act like a legitimate movement and care for all citizens. Now, I will caveat that by saying things like Islam does not belong in America, Judaism does not belong in America. There's certain harsh realities that, you know, I think would, be hard for a lot of people to stomach in terms of like what my thoughts are on this topic. But simultaneously, this is my point. Like, why can't National Socialism benefit blacks and, you know, minorities in general, right? Why not? If it's that good, then we have to find a way to integrate it into their society, not society, into their neighborhoods, whatever. I am definitely I don't know what the word is for this, but like a person who believes strongly that people should have the right to associate with who they want. And the flip side of that means that they should also have the right to self segregate, and that there should be white communities and black communities, but also communities where people can have diversity if they want it. If they want to, go to that part of town or whatever, and be like, oh, I'm going into, you know, the 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 diversity sector, because I want to enjoy a concert, or I want to, you know, do something or other, whatever it might be. But it seems pretty obvious that we can't really live together. It's whites certainly can't. We're not benefiting from it. It hurts us, and so we have to. It's kind of like being in like being married to like an alcoholic who just beats the shit out of you all the time, and like you have to finally say, I'm leaving. I'm done. I've had enough abuse, and this relationship is over. You know what I'm saying? So that's the reality of that. Um, oh, you're racist. Oh, you're racist. Fuck off. Really fuck off. Because when you call me a racist for saying that, what you're doing is delegitimizing my people and my pain and our reality. Our experience of reality is one in which we are the prey, and people of color are the predators. And so, if you're going to try to convince me to stay in that, then you're gaslighting me. You're hustling me. You're lying to me. There's no benefit to us as a people to do that. We're constantly being hustled in so many ways. So yes, there's high IQ people of color, and God bless them. I would have those people lead these their own societies. Whoever they may be. And you're gonna see very quickly how people are like, oh no no no, I want to live in a white neighborhood. Well then, fucking respect us. Like don't, you know what I mean? Like, but in the long run, it's always the same. It just there's a kind of a cycle of atrophy where it's like, oh, one is okay or two is okay, and then 5 and 10 and 50 and 100, and now you've got like what happened to me in my area the other night. There was 40 different properties that were vandalized in one night. And of course, I know who it is. We all know who it is, who did that, why they do it. It's just the same routine. It's just the same cycle over and over and over. So it's better for us to be alone. It's better for us to be on our own, you know. And yeah, that's it. That's it. If I'm sorry, I can't. That is the most peaceful answer that I can come up with. If somebody can come up with a better answer, I'm all ears. But as for now, that's the only thing that's going to work. You know what I'm saying? And it's clearly I'm speaking out of the interests of my people. I'm not like, oh, well, I'm going to sacrifice what's good for whites to help everybody who's not white. That's not how I'm thinking. That is not, and I have no reason to think like that. I'm not the babysitter of other people, and our people should not be, beholden to that. But again, it's these psychotic, liberal women who don't have children of their own that make people of color their children, and turn that into their little mission, what's the word? What's it called when you signal to other people, virtue signaling. Oh boy, I am lecturing up a storm here. Victor says that most Puerto Ricans are black or mestizo, black mix. Puerto Rico's got it's got an interesting mix. You do have people that are pretty clearly, you know, have kind of like Spanish ancestry. I've been to Puerto Rico several times, and there's just the whole range. You just got the whole range of like, all of it, Um, I can't say for sure if there's a type of like light skin versus dark skin racism or something that goes on in that society. I don't live in that society, so I don't know. But I do know that oftentimes that's what happens. You get like the light skinned Latin people or what have you are, they get some special status or something. And I don't know. It's just that I don't know anything about it, so I can't really comment on that. There are people online saying they can afford food and not on EBT, but still want to use this as an excuse to participate in looting, of course. Sean says giving dirty looks to Squatamalans. Squatamalans is free. Enjoy it. They need to know that we know. Oh God, yeah. I that's what I'm trying to tell you. Is like they don't get a fucking free ride. I mean, they're already getting a fucking free ride. And like I don't. I'm like this close to calling ICE to say like maybe you better investigate this place over here. It's like crawling with that. Squatamalans. It's funny. Let's see. Sean is saying, I'm in the countryside of Michigan. Okay, that's cool. My cousin lives out there. You should do a promotion which people who regulars the stream chat get your signature on a comic when they purchase it. What a great idea. What a great idea. I've actually had the idea of doing, and maybe I should integrate this. Wow. Craig, you're giving me ideas here. So I've got a new show that I'm developing, and I was thinking maybe I could have some kind of a prize where I do some kind of art and then send it to people who win whatever the prize is, whatever the question is. You've got me thinking. Let's see. Sean says she's Polish German. I'm Irish, Frog, French. Good. Very good. I'm Irish and French too, by the way, and English, and Scottish. Craig, where were you talking about a hush crime? I missed part. I don't know what. And a lot of women aren't coming around to it. She comes from a good family. Her dad was leader. Found her when she was 19, before the world ruined her. Man, you're a lucky son of a gun, dude. You are a lucky guy. Sean says people are atrophied. I grew up in Metro Detroit. As soon as I was old enough, I moved to a small white town. Good thinking. I never have any like positive vision of Detroit. To me, Detroit just seems like a ghetto, like a rundown, destroyed, hollowed out ghetto. I know there's like a good house music scene there, and friends of mine go for the music and stuff, but maybe I'm totally wrong. Anyway, Sean says, don't remember when I followed you, but I'm glad I did. I'm heading off to bed. Gym at 5:30. Wow, I admire you that you can do that. Hail to our people. Thanks for coming. Awesome. Before I take off, Detroit is horrible. If you're young, you can find cool hangouts, but otherwise it's trash. Thanks for letting me know. Wow. Well, it is 10 o'clock. It's a little after 10. My guys and gals, whoever is out there in internet land, I wish you well. I really want people to interact more in the comments. Like, there is a comment section. I made a lot of controversial statements in this show. Why don't you share your thoughts? Why don't you respond to it? Why don't you push back a bit? Tell me where I'm wrong. Tell me where I could, what I should research. Um, Engage me. Like, let me know what your thoughts are on these things. I think that would be exciting. All right. So on that note, I wish and Mr. Colabrad have a good night. Donald Kent, thank you, sir. I appreciate you coming. And good night to you, Mr. Craig. Have yourself a good one.